Hello, today I'm going to review the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. And as the title says, this review will contain spoilers, so if you don't want to know what's going to happen in the movie, then don't watch this video yet. But if you don't care about that, then feel free to watch it. But I am going to go through pretty much every crucial thing that happens in the story, so just be warned of that. And right off the bat, I'm just going to go ahead and say I absolutely love this movie. I think it's the best video game adaptation movie I've ever seen, and definitely the best out of the Sonic movies so far, and I can't wait to see what else they do. But I'm just going to start the review here, starting with the story, then we'll go into the characterization, the overall look of the movie, the soundtrack of it, and then I'll just kind of give an overall score. So, starting out with the story, it opens up with like one of the coolest movie openings of all time. It's like Prison Island, a place from the games that we all know, and Shadow is just in there in a containment facility, and there's just some gun officers, and they're just messing around with them, and saying, nothing's gonna happen. He's been like this for a long time, like 50 years or whatever. And I guess there's not a worse time they could have said that, because right then is when he's going to break out, of course. So he starts having these bad memories, thinking about what this whole military organization did to him, and he starts wanting to get revenge, because he used to protect this girl named Maria that he kind of was like a sister to him at one point, because that's the only kind of human contact that he had that actually cared about him. But yeah, the gun organization shot her down, so he's naturally going to hate them for that. And so at that point, he breaks out of the little containment facility thing they got him, and he just starts killing everybody in there. After that, he just escapes, and a new threat is unleashed upon the world. And then it kind of cuts to a more lighthearted scene of Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails just racing each other in the forest. And he has a birthday party. That's what they were wanting to do for him, I guess, his parents. And after that, a big helicopter shows up and needs Sonic and Knuckles and Tails. They just call him Team Sonic at this point, like at the games. Knuckles doesn't like that, though, because he thinks it should be Team Knuckles and shouldn't be named after Sonic. But that's just a running joke in the movie. But anyway, after that, they go join Gun for a little while to go take down Shadow, because Gun, the military organization, needed them because Shadow had been unleashed. So they go with them, and they jump out of a helicopter, and Sonic quotes the iconic line from Sonic Adventure 2, the low-budget flights talk... Wait, no, it was no movies or food or whatever. Talk about low-budget flights. I'm out of here. And he just jumps out, just like in the game. And I just thought that was funny, because I didn't expect him to reference the game like that, but I thought it was really good. Anyway, they all jump down there. Shadow starts kicking their butts, and then... yeah, they lose the fight pretty much. And then he speeds off on his motorcycle. So Sonic just starts chasing him. And there's just a few jokes in there for some reason. And yeah, he just realizes Shadow is really powerful. So they're gonna need help. So they get called in with Commander Walters, from the first two movies. And they go to this place called the Chow Garden, which is like this Japanese restaurant that's themed around the chows from Sonic Adventure 2. And... yeah, they're just getting some intel from him. He gives them this little key card thingy that has a bunch of information on it that they're going to need. And then all of a sudden, he dies because some guy on a motorcycle comes in. And we don't know who this guy is yet until later. But he just comes in, kills Commander Walters, kind of wrecks the whole place. And then they kind of chase him down. And then they kind of corner him on a bridge. And he takes off the helmet, and it's Agent Stone from the first two Sonic movies. And he's kind of just been out in hiding after, we thought Eggman died in the second one. Turns out he didn't die. He's been living inside of this big robotic white crab thingy. And they go inside of that. And he's not looking too good lately. He's gotten real fat. He's grown his hair out. He's watching romantic soap operas all day and trashing his little room. So, yeah, he's not doing too good. But they end up kind of having to join forces with Eggman, because they all got to take down Shadow, because they've also been using Eggman's like technology and stuff, and he doesn't like that. That's like his babies to him. He's always talking about the robots being his babies. It gets real weird at some point. That's just what makes it so funny. But anyway, they kind of join forces, as I said, and some weird things happen after that, because they go down into this facility, and they all have to split up. Shadow kind of takes down each of them while they're in that facility. And Eggman goes off with Sonic, and then they kind of get separated, and he finds his grandpa, Gerald Robotnik. And he's like, where have you been all my life? And he's like, in prison. And he's like, well, why weren't you ever there for me? And he's like, because I was in prison for 50 years. So, yeah, I guess that's a good way to explain why your grandpa wouldn't have been there for you. But, yeah, he's broken out, and he wants revenge on the world, along with Shadow, because he kind of created Shadow, you know. But anyway, Eggman and Gerald Robotnik end up joining up and being like this comedic villain duo. And they both say, like, double the villains, double the fun, or something like that. And, yeah, it's really funny. And, yeah, they end up turning on Team Sonic, of course. And Sonic's like, that's why we got trust issues right there. And, yeah, after that, Shadow's also there, and he drops this little thing, opens up a big black hole, and Team Sonic's about to die. But luckily, Knuckles kind of comes in, and they throw a ring and get teleported back, and that all works. And they recruit Tom and Maddie from the first few movies. And then, like, I don't know why I thought this joke was so funny, but Tom has been practicing using a ventriloquist dummy, and his wife always told him to get rid of it. But then he made the little dummy say, I've been telling you to get rid of her. And I don't know, I just thought it was really funny. The people I was watching it with also thought it was really funny, so therefore it must have been funny. But anyway, after that, the plot really starts picking up because they had these things to kind of make them look like other people. So they end up like changing to look like Randall and Rachel from the last movie, because they were like gun agents at that point to get into the military base. And they end up getting in there, and that's where the other key card thingy is supposed to be, which they also need. And yeah, Gerald Robotnik needs it, but for a reason that he doesn't really tell Eggman at first. He's kind of vague with all this until the very end. But they go in there, they get in a big fight with the military and all this. And yeah, there's like this really weird Eggman dance scene where him and his grandpa just start dancing through this laser maze for like 5 minutes straight. And it makes you cringe so much that it's funny. There's another scene of them two as well where he's like, oh, where's my grandpa been all my life? And they just start trying to relive all the childhood memories that Eggman should have had. And yeah, that part's really funny too. I can't get enough of the Jim Carrey Eggman. And he plays both of them in this movie. He plays Gerald and Ivo Robotnik. So he plays both of them. Makes it really funny. And after that, they go in there and they almost get the other key card. And yeah, they keep getting stopped and all this. Anyway, Gerald ends up actually having this master plan of this place called the Eclipse Cannon from Sonic Adventure 2. As you know, it's supposed to blow up planets. It's kind of like the Death Star from Star Wars. And he ends up going up there with Eggman and Shadow. They're all evil at this point. They just want to get revenge on the world. Eggman doesn't know exactly what he means by getting revenge on the world, though, until he actually gets up there. And then he's like, I'm just gonna blow up the world. I'm gonna blow us up too, but at least everybody else will be dead. So I don't know his logic there, because he's not gonna be there to actually rule it. And then Eggman's like, oh, this was a terrible idea, but it's a bit too late to be thinking that now. And then Shadow's also starting to rethink it, and then they start kind of bringing back all his trauma, and he's like, I don't care if I'm dead, I just want all them dead too. So he starts powering the thing up, and then the movie gets really beautiful at that point, because well, I'll get more into that when I get to more of the graphical side of the movie. But yeah, he kind of powers that whole thing up. And yeah, it seems like the villains are going to win for sure at that point. And then Sonic goes and gets the Master Emerald, something he was told not to do, because all the Team Sonic had agreed not to ever use the Master Emerald in revenge or out of hatred or anything. But oh, how could I forget this big plot point? Hang on, let me backtrack a little bit. Tom pretty much dies, okay? Shadow knocks him out. And yeah, he's believed to be dead at this point. So Sonic is like really broken. He's not thinking straight. And he goes and he gets the Master Emerald against what Knuckles told him to do. And he powers up and turns into Super Sonic and just heads straight into space to go just defeat Eggman and the gang up there. And they're like, is that an asteroid? Is that a rocket? No, it's Sonic. And he's just coming up there so fast. And he kind of blows a hole in the place after that. And then Shadow goes down there and starts trying to fight him. And then they play Live and Learn from the games. And it's like really unexpected, but it fits so good because it needed to have some actual Sonic music in it at some point. And they have a big fight, Sonic and Shadow. And yeah, the fight's really good. It lasts pretty long too, so that's good as well. And then Eggman and his grandpa have a big fight as well, with like mechanical claws and mech suits and stuff. It's really good. And at that point, Eggman ends up kind of realizing he was wrong, and he, a bunch of stuff happens, and then he gets to do a broadcast to go back down to Earth. He's making an announcement right here, and he goes and he kind of just writes an apology to everybody, an apology to Stone for always treating him so bad, an apology to the world, and all this, and he kind of sacrifices his life to shut the whole thing down. And then Sonic and Shadow both go into their super forms and fight each other, and then he ends up convincing Shadow that maybe this isn't what that Maria girl wanted, was to end everybody. So they end up teaming up, and they go up there and they stop the laser, and Eggman's up there trying to stop it too. And yeah, all the bad guys have turned good except for Gerald. He's permanently bad. But yeah, after that, they kind of blow the thing up, blows up a little bit of the moon, just like in the game. But after that, everything's good. It ends on a happy ending, a happy note, and they go back to Earth. Tom is actually still alive. They didn't actually kill him off. And yeah, kind of just ends happy. It's just him and his family again. That's pretty much everything there is in the main movie. But there's the post-credit scene too. We see Metal Sonic. He just pops out of nowhere because Sonic went on a race or something. And there's a whole bunch of Metal Sonics. And I don't really know where they come from. I guess it's something for Sonic 4. But all of a sudden, some hooded character with a hammer comes through and just starts smashing them all to save Sonic. And then this hooded character takes off the hood, and it's Amy from the Sonic games. And when I was watching it, the whole crowd went wild when she showed up. It's about time. But yeah, that was the first post-credit scene. I think it was longer than the other post-credit scenes had been. It was definitely a good one. And then after all the credits have rolled, there's a second post-credit scene, and we see Shadow is still alive. He didn't die when he was trying to blow the whole Eclipse Cannon thing up. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the story of the movie. I think it's very good. So next we'll go on to the characterization side of the movie. So in terms of characterization, we'll just start with Sonic. He's still the happy hedgehog that we all know and love, and he doesn't really change that much in this movie, aside from like 3/4 in. Shadow has pretty much killed Tom. Sonic thinks he's dead. So yeah, Sonic wants to kill Shadow and get revenge, which is kind of something Sonic has stood against, but he's mad at this point, so he's going to go and do it. So yeah, and then he kind of learns that wasn't the right way. And that's pretty much all there is of his character arc. Knuckles doesn't really have much of an arc in this movie. He's just his normal comedic self. They don't really do much with Tails either. There's really nothing for the main three, aside from Sonic having a slight bit. With the movie having so many characters in it, though, I guess that makes sense. Now, Shadow is the new character, so he's going to have tons of characterization. He starts out as the really traumatic character, has all these bad memories. The military organization killed the person he loved, so yeah, that makes sense why he'd be that way. And he goes through a character arc of wanting to just enact revenge on everybody, not just the people that caused all this. And he just wants to kill innocent people at that point. So he's crazy. And then he learns throughout the movie that revenge is not the way, that the people that caused that aren't really even alive anymore, so what's the point? And then he kind of learns just to let the girl that he protected, just let her legacy live on. He doesn't have to do anything, just he needs to calm down pretty much. And he kind of recovers from the trauma. It still hurts. He can't really undo it, but Sonic kind of relates to him in that point because he can't undo the bad things that happened to him. He just has to learn from it. It's like the Lion King over here. That's what it is. And yeah, that's pretty much Shadow's arc right there. Now, Eggman has a big a good amount of characterization in this movie, because he joins up with Sonic. He acts like he's good for like 5 minutes, and then he betrays him again because he found his grandpa. And then he has a lot of problems because his grandpa wasn't there for him. He just feels like he just avoided him all his life. He didn't know that he was in prison for 50 years. But his grandpa was a terrible person anyway, so he didn't really miss out on anything. But yeah, he kind of gets all close to him throughout the movie. He's like, oh, I finally have a parental figure, something that he never had. And yeah, and then he gets betrayed by him at the end. It's kind of sad. I don't even think he deserved that, but yeah. Then Eggman actually turns good at the end of this third movie, and he goes and he tries to save the world. So yeah, the weird thing is that Eggman is like the most characterized character in this movie. And there's another new one. There's Gerald Robotnik, his grandpa. He's just crazy. He's just mean. He doesn't really have much of an arc. He just is sad that his granddaughter died, which I guess that is an arc, and he kind of just went crazy because of it. Wants to enact revenge on the world just like Shadow. And after that, he tries to enact revenge, tries to blow the planet up, and it doesn't work, and then he's dead. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is for him. And yeah, there's like two more. Tom and Maddie are in this movie too. Tom almost dies. That's pretty much all the characterization that they have, and Maddie just protects Tom and has some funny shenanigans. But there really isn't that much characterization for those two. They're not really in the movie that much on this one. I guess there really wasn't that much time like in the second one. And Wade Whipple shows up for literally like 1 minute of the movie, so he doesn't really do anything. But he protects the Master Emerald. That's Wade's job, and he fails really badly. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the characterization that I can think of in this movie. So the next thing that we'll go into is the graphics, or the overall look of the movie. And I think this is definitely the best looking out of any of the Sonic movies. I guess we all know what that original Sonic design was going to look like. With the human teeth, the white furred hands. They wasn't even gloves. They were real creepy looking. And like the face, I don't know. The whole thing was just messed up looking. Like if it's funny to think about where we'd be today if that was the Sonic design they stuck with. But yeah, luckily it's not. So yeah, this one, I think they kind of refined the models of the main three just a little bit, get them up to date a little bit. And Shadow's, they redone Shadow's model from the post-credits scene. I'm pretty sure the old Shadow model was just Supersonic, just recolored, but he's got a whole new model in this movie. I'm talking about it like a video game, I'm sorry. But yeah, Shadow I think looks really cool in this movie. He looks really good with the whole movie design thing they got going. All the rest of the characters do too. They have redone Eggman. He looks the most like he's ever looked like he does in the games. So he even got the suit and stuff around the end, like the suit that he wears in the video games. And he has the big belly now, and the full amount of craziness. And yeah, there's Gerald too. He's pretty accurate to the game. They got Maria in there, and yeah, she's accurate to the game. But like the overall like look of the movie is very, very high quality. It doesn't look low budget or anything. There's a bunch of scenes that's shot in space, and they are like really cool. It feels like you're actually there, and all the high speed chase sequences are really good, and all the fight scenes are just pure awesomeness and like give you an adrenaline rush watching them. It felt like playing one of the games, so I'm not going to complain about that. And what else is there to talk about in terms of graphics? I guess that's really it for that. It just looks really good. It's definitely the best looking Sonic movie. One of the best looking movies I've seen in a while. So now we'll talk about the music in the movie. And this one definitely has the best soundtrack out of any of them, I think, because they actually play music from the games in this one. Just from the opening, they have Maria playing Live and Learn from the Sonic Adventure 2 on the guitar. And they play Live and Learn a lot in this movie. It's kind of the overall theme of it, which is probably one of the best songs to come out of the Sonic franchise. But in the final battle with Sonic and Shadow, they play like a remixed version of Live and Learn. It's really good. And they have a few other songs from the game kind of just pop up as references. Like Eggman's ringtone is the I Am the Eggman theme from Sonic Adventure 2. Most of the music in this movie is from Sonic Adventure 2, which makes sense because that game has such a banger soundtrack even today. But yeah, they kind of have like a bunch of random songs from like the 80s and stuff too, in the 90s. I guess that fits because it's Sonic, you know, he's from like the 90s, and I don't know, I guess he has that 80s nostalgia to him as well. But yeah, those are always a joy to hear too. I'm just happy that we got some songs from the games as well though, because Sonic has really good music. And yeah, that's really all there is to the soundtrack side. The voice acting and stuff, I guess that should also be included, is really good. You got Keanu Reeves as Shadow, and he did a good job. Definitely fixed Shadow. And the other cast still remains the same. You got Bing Schwartz as Sonic. That's definitely my favorite actor for Sonic. Just fix him, the character, the most. They got Colleen O'Shaughnessy as Tails, which is the same person that plays him in the games. Definitely a good job there. And yeah, they got Knuckles. He still has the same voice actor too. He always does a good job. Definitely my favorite voice for Knuckles too. Just fix him really good. And yeah, Jim Carrey's Eggman always is funny. I think that's the perfect actor for Eggman. And yeah, that's really all there is to that. So overall, I would rate this movie a 9 out of 10. I think that is really, really good. The best video game adaptation I've seen. My only problems with it are really just that I feel like it could have been a bit longer. If they just could have reached it to 2 hours, I think it would have had more time to kind of flesh out everything. It is a very fast-paced movie, which works with Sonic, but some parts are just so fast-paced that I feel like they could have had a little more time just to flesh it out a little bit more. Like, the whole scene where Tom almost dies is so fast, it's almost blink and you'll miss it. Like, where did it even come from? Like, they could have built up on that a little bit more. And then it's like all of a sudden when they get back, he's just back alive again. I feel like they should have at least had a scene with him in the hospital or something where we're like, what, is he actually going to die and all this? But no, they didn't do that. The whole flashback sequences of Shadow and Maria are really good. I feel like they could have used one or two more of those, or just a little bit more on why Gunn was after Shadow to begin with, though. Because they kind of lead that up to, if you played the games, you know, but if you're just watching the movie for the first time, I don't know if you completely understand that or not. There's also, I'm just going to say this, if you've just seen the movie, you will think that Shadow and Maria are supposed to be together or something. If you play the games, you know they're not. They're like a brother and sister. But yeah, just watching the movie, people I was watching it with was like, what are they doing? And I was like, well, you got to play the games to understand that they're not together. But yeah, that's all there is to that. And other places that I think the movie kind of had a few flaws is, while I love the fight scenes and all that, they were very good. I feel like it could have had just a few more. It is an action movie after all, but that's not too big of a complaint. I think the fight scenes that they had were really well done. I'm not really complaining about this movie at all. I think it's borderline perfect. I'm just pointing out the little bitty flaws that it has. But yeah, as I've already bragged on this movie, I think it's really good. I would definitely recommend seeing it. Best out of the Sonic movies. I think I'll go see it again. And I just hope they continue to make more Sonic movies. Continue to make it a big franchise. And I will be there to watch them. So thank you for watching. And I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.